My name is Michel Leroy. I'm the Director of Photography for Giddings Global, and today I'm going to show you our workflow. Our workflow is through a system we call GMS. That stands for Giddings Management System. GMS is a single source, web-based, purpose-built website that's going to allow you to have information about previous shoots, about the shoot you're on today, and about upcoming shoots. All the information about every shoot you have is going to be in one place. It's also the place where you're going to identify which picture the subject likes. You're going to put in any retouching notes. You're going to process the D&Gs and you're going to submit them. Everything happens in one place. That website address is photographers.giddingsglobal.com. Let me walk you through, show you what it looks like. Okay, so let's take a look at GMS. We're going to log in. Top right-hand corner or one of these three quick buttons on the bottom. I'm going to use my giddingsglobal.com account. I'm going to log right in. Let's take a look here. Top right-hand corner, I'm going to briefly go over what's here. We have Home. Home is going to show us all of our active and completed sessions. Preferences will show us email address, contact information, scheduling areas, those kinds of things, calendar setup, and logging out. Those are the only things. Let's take a look. This is a job that's coming up for me. It's an active session at this particular client in New York City where I'm based. It tells me a lot of information just from this view. It's on a particular date at a particular time. I've got the address, I've got a link to the photography brief, the local contact information, all that stuff. All right, so let's click on this and go inside and take a look at the details. Now, let me briefly describe how this is laid out. In the top section, we have all of the information about the address, the client contact, the date, when the project is due. That's actually really helpful for photographers to understand. We've got link to the photography brief, all that stuff. The next session down, status is confirmed, meaning this is an actual job. We've got a link to upload files. We've got information about who we're going to photograph, Jennifer and Joe. We've got the billing information here at the bottom. So everybody has the same billing information. We can add expenses for parking, that kind of thing if we need to. Okay. So we understand sort of the basic architecture. Information, details about the shoot, and then billing the job. Okay, all of it's right here, one place. A couple of really important things to understand. Top left-hand corner where it says SES 1032. That's just this particular job. Every job will have a different one of these. That's sort of our internal tracking ID for this job. So if you click on this button right here with the two pieces of paper stacked on top of each other, it's going to copy the session ID. The session ID is sort of the unique signifier for this particular day with this particular client in this particular city by a particular photographer. So we're going to use that as the master folder that all the pictures are going to go in for this particular client. It's a lot more than just SES 1032. Okay, so you're going to click on that, you're going to copy that, you're going to jump onto your desktop and paste that, and that's going to be your folder that you're going to put all your photos in. It doesn't matter if you use Capture One or Lightroom, all of them work fine. Whatever your workflow is, it doesn't matter. There's only three things that really matter for us. One, they all have to be named right. If you look here, there's something called slot ID. A slot ID is like a specific ID number for Jennifer Lasto. This particular person has a very specific ID. All of her pictures would have that name. And we're going to go on to this guy named Joe, and we would copy his slot ID. So that's very specific. There's two other things that are very specific for Giddings. One is you have to 5-star rate the ones that the clients pick, or star rate them in a very specific way, and you have to color tag them in a very specific way. Again, all of this is IPTC information. It's universal. It's used by any app that will allow you to tether. So whichever app you use, that doesn't really matter to us. The final thing is, in order to upload images, you have to use a particular DNG processing formula. And we'll cover that in greater detail later on. But let's jump onto the computer and let's create some pictures so that we can start to upload them. Okay, so by copying this session ID, I pasted that here, and that's what this long name is. GIT, short for Giddings, and then the date, then the client, and then this SES 1032. Again, this thing changes from shoot to shoot, so that's very specific for each shoot. But I'm going to paste that into Capture One. I'm going to open Capture One, and Capture One's going to create all these subfolders for me. It's just what Capture One does. Inside the Captures folder, I created this SES, the session ID, session images ID slot. Right, so I created a folder for that. Normally I would start out and there would not be any pictures in these folders. Okay, but a session image is something like a gray card or something like that. Then I have a slot ID, this STS number that I'm going to copy. That's going to be right here. And that's where the pictures for that particular person will go. And then Williams will go in a separate one. Again, it doesn't matter that I use Capture One and you might use Lightroom. That doesn't matter. As long as you organize things and name them correctly, you can put them anywhere you want in any application that you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay, session images. I've already shot this, but I just want to show you, right? So there's already a picture here. But if I had just shot this, I'm going to make sure that it has the correct name. It has that SES number, which identifies it as a session image. A session image, so a gray card. The gray card is not going to change. The lighting is not going to change. So this gray card needs to be color tagged with a red color tag, okay? Any one of the capture softwares is going to have these same tags, okay? So I'm going to tag that as a red. Red means that it is a gray card for the entire session. Okay, now let's go into a folder for a particular person. So this is a person I photographed. I shot about 18 pictures of her, trying a bunch of different things. Glasses on, glasses off, a little too laughy, and then we quieted it down, and that's actually what she ended up liking. Now you'll notice over here on the left, again, it doesn't matter that I use Capture One. It's the same for just about any software. We have star ratings, okay? I start with no star rating, and then the ones they kind of like, we give a 1, and then we go to a 2, and a 3, and a 4, all the way up to 5. When somebody picks the picture that they want, we're going to rate that with a 5-star. This has to be done, just like rating the session images with the gray card with a red tag. The subject selected picture must be tagged with a 5-star rating. That is true in any software that you use, okay? What I notice is all of them are named with the correct STS number, that subject ID number. So they're all named Jennifer Lasso, like 1 through whatever. So let's jump to the next person. We've got this other person, Joe. All of his pictures, you'll notice, have the right ID number, right? They've got the STS number for him, and then they've got his name, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. until we're done. Now this particular gentleman, most of his photos look almost identical. This is the one that he happened to like, so it has a 5-star rating. You'll notice there's a 5-star rating right here. Now, it's really important. You have to name everything correctly. You have to star them or color tag them correctly. And then you're done shooting, right? What happens if another person comes in? So somebody shows up on this photo shoot for this particular client on this day, and they say, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I need to be photographed as well. And they weren't originally on the schedule. That is not a problem. Now, we're going to have to create a time slot for that person. So let's say that person's name is Oliver. Okay. And we're going to look up their email address. We're going to ask them what it is, and they say it's oliver@betterprice.com, because that's the name of the firm. I'm going to click next. Then let's see. It says there's no match that's been found. Okay, that's not a problem. Oliver just showed up. He's a brand new hire, so we're going to have to create a new subject. All right, so I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go Oliver and Smythe is his last name, and that is their role. He doesn't have an employee number yet. He just doesn't have one because he's a brand new hire. He's not willing to give you his phone number. We're going to say no problem. We're just going to save this, and it's going to create a new time slot. So let's let that reload. So Oliver Smythe shows up. So there's a new slot ID, you'll notice. So I'm going to copy that slot ID. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to create a new one. So I've created the new subject ID. Now, let me jump over to Capture One again. So we're going to go over to Oliver Smythe's folder. We're going to shoot some pictures of Oliver, and we're going to star rate them until he has just the one that he likes, with and without glasses. It's this one. Okay, perfect. It's got a 5-star rating. We were able to add a person. So now we have 3 subjects. We have Jennifer, Joe, and Oliver. Plus we have a gray card that's going to apply for everybody, because skin tone accuracy really does matter to us. We're basically done with Capture One at this point, okay? Or your tethering software. Again, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be Capture One. but we're done taking pictures. So I've had to remove the section that was originally here because we've changed how we're processing DNG files. I know almost any program can create DNG files, but we ask that you only use one specific application. It's called Adobe DNG Converter. It's literally like one button easy, and it only does one thing. It takes raw files and it converts them to DNG files. But more importantly, it's the only one that works seamlessly with GMS. So please, find it on the internet, download it. You're going to use it for all Giddings shoots. I created an entire separate video about how to set up Adobe DNG Converter. It's linked down below. Take time, watch that video separately. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Now, let's get back to the standard GMS workflow. Once the preferences are set up, you can just click OK. You're never going to have to change your preferences. You will have to change where the pictures come from and where they go to, but that's it. So you'll have access to that information. So don't worry, you don't have to memorize all this stuff. I've selected where they're coming from, where they're going to. I've changed the preferences so everything is correct. I am going to press convert. All right, so let's see what this thing says. It says there are about, it says it's processed 39 or now 29 of 49 images. It goes really fast. This only takes minutes, okay? 49 pictures. I photographed 3 people plus a session image. It took less than a minute for that to happen. Okay. Now, I want to point something out. There must have been some stuff in the trash, okay? So Giddings doesn't need the trash. If you don't need the trash, we certainly don't need it. All right, so I'm going to throw that away. Now, let's take a look. Inside the captures folder, it should look like this capture folder, okay? Remember, because over here we said preserve subfolders. So inside my session images, there's going to be a folder or an image. It's the exact same picture as this picture, okay? These two are the exact same picture. One of them is a Sony RAW picture and one of them is a DNG. Another important thing to look at, the Sony RAW picture is 54 megs. The DNG is only 12.9 megs, okay? So that's a big difference. It makes your upload speeds a lot faster. So all of Jennifer's pictures are here. They're all named correctly. Joe's pictures are there. His are named correctly. And Oliver's pictures are there and his are named correctly, okay? And then we have the one gray card for the session. All right, now I'm gonna go back to my desktop. Okay, so here, let's jump on here. We wanna upload some pictures. So let's click on the blue button here that says upload. I can drag and drop new files or I can add them using this button. Both of those techniques work, okay? So let me just drag and drop some. I just want to show you how that works. So I'm going to simply grab this picture and drag it over here. So it says session image 1 is ready. I'm going to press the green start upload button and you'll see how fast that is. Now that was a lot faster, trust me, than if that was a raw file, okay? So what I can do now is just start grabbing entire folders and dragging them over, okay? And it'll queue up all these ones for Jennifer, they're all queued up. I have to press the green Start Upload button. And what you'll notice is the status starts to change. Once you get a green checkbox, it means those pictures have been uploaded, okay? All of the pictures need to be uploaded. And if we scroll even further down, it'll say Status Pending, because it's making sure that they all look good. Now let me show you a different uploading files technique. I can go to my desktop, I can go to that job, I can find a folder filled with pictures, and I can just press open and start upload. Once again, those two techniques do the exact same thing. We can scroll down and we see that Joe's pictures are now uploading. It really doesn't take that long, and the DNG conversion makes all the difference in the world. Okay, final folder, I'm gonna take Oliver's, just dump them right here, press the start button. All right, I'm just quickly gonna scroll down to make sure everything has a green checkbox. That means everything was done correctly. If something was not done correctly, there would be a little red box right here that says like something is wrong, and it would tell you what's wrong. And just for fun, I actually added a picture that's a raw picture. I just want to show you what happens when you do it incorrectly or you forget to convert or whatever. So this is a raw picture that was not converted from a different shoot. I'm going to drop it on here and I'm going to press start. Let's see what happens. Okay, let me scroll down here. Uh-oh, it says that this picture failed. There's a reason why it failed. So you're going to have to look at this thing and make some determinations. One of the things I can tell you right away is it's got the wrong name. None of the picture names start with date. They start with this STS. The other thing is it's a raw file. And the third thing is you can tell because it really sticks out. It's a humongous file by comparison because it's a raw still. I'm finished uploading all my pictures, and just for fun, I put one in that was wrong to show you that it failed. So if it failed, it means you did something wrong, okay? It's either named wrong or it wasn't converted to DNG. All right, so now let's return to the session detail. Let's take a look at the information we have. A lot of it's been filled in for us. So session images, you'll notice the number of captures is 1. And you can even click on that button and it will show you that picture. Okay? Very helpful. We can return to the session detail. Let's go back here. Jennifer, it says, is completed. It filled it in for me because I did it right. It says there's a total of 18 pictures. There is 1 select. I can even click on that select and it'll show me. Here we go. There's the picture that Jennifer picked. Okay? Now, if I had gotten this wrong or there wasn't a 5-star, I could manually change this. I could come in here and actually change these star ratings if I wanted to. I'm going to have to make sure I save that. But you can make manual changes in here if you absolutely need to. Or if for some odd reason your capture software didn't bring over the stars, but it did bring over the 18 pictures, you can go in here and manually flag them. You'll notice all of their pictures are marked here. A support picture would be something like eyeglasses. So let's go back to Jennifer. So Jennifer actually did shoot pictures with her glasses, but she didn't end up liking them. Okay? What I could do is change this. I could say that this is a support picture, meaning this picture is it's a fixed glass glare. All right? That's just an abbreviation for it. I could save that just to make sure that it's in there and return to my session details. There's now going to be a picture that's flagged as a support picture for Jennifer. Okay? Now, ultimately, she picked the pictures without her glasses on. But if there was a big, nasty reflection on her glasses, we would want to ask her to take her glasses off just for 1 or 2 frames to create a support picture. The support picture is going to speed up retouching exponentially. Okay, so all of the people have been photographed. Everybody's status is set correctly. I've got captures for every person. I've got a select for each person individually. The 9:45 session never happened, so I'm just going to ignore that. So let's talk about retouching notes. Clearly, this part of the video was recorded separately because it's a different session on a different day. But the part that matters is the retouching notes. So over here on the left, if this person, Jason Smith, had walked in and they had taken their photograph and picked the one they wanted, and you had very specific retouching notes, or they gave you information that they really wanted to convey to the retouchers, you could add that here and save it. Now, there are no photos uploaded for Jason yet, but the notes are there, and that's really important because by the end of a long day, you'll probably have forgotten what Jason wanted, right? The same can be true for the next person. Jim James comes in, gives you some very specific retouching notes. You save those to his slot ID. That's this STS number. Then later, when you go to upload those pictures, the notes will automatically be there. The alternative is you can wait until the end when you've uploaded photos and then add notes. Either technique works, but I find this one is really helpful in the moment so you don't forget the retouching notes. The final section we want to double check is billing and expenses before we try and submit the session. What if somebody was running late? Say this partner that you're photographing is running late and somebody from the client, either the contact, the front desk person, somebody asks you to stay late. So you're going to click on their slot ID. You're going to go down here to billable hours and we're going to put in a note, just like a retouching note. So let's click on this button because nobody at Giddings knows that that person was running late. So we need to make a note of it. So we're going to change this and we're going to say the session did not end as expected and went until, let's say Mary was running late, but not that late. Then I'm going to paste in just a note, right? I'm going to use that STS number for Mary and I'm going to say this person was running late, so I stayed an extra 15 minutes. Now there's a reason. Giddings understands and the client success team understands there's a reason why you extended the photo shoot. It's perfectly reasonable. Mary was running late and you were able to stay, so you did. The other thing that we need to take a look at are expenses. If you happen to have expenses, say you have like an $8 parking expense, you can add that in here. So before you try and submit your session, you're going to want to double check these things. You're going to want to make sure that this total is accurate, because once you've submitted a job, you can't change those things. So now let's try and submit the job and see what happens. So once you've completed all the picture uploads, you've completed all your expenses, on the lower left side, we can click the Submit Session button. So I'm going to click that. I got a flag. Let's see what this says. It says the session cannot be submitted because we're missing the required gray card image under Session Images. Well, that's interesting because I know I submitted one. It says there's one here. So I'm going to click on this and see what it says. The subject type was wrong. Okay, so I'm going to set this as a session gray card. Okay, I'm going to save that. The changes have been saved. I'm going to go back to my session report and I'm going to try one more time. Okay, let's see what happens. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so this job has been submitted. So I had made a mistake, but it told me what the mistake was so I could go back and fix it. So I'm all done. I can now log out of GMS and pack up my gear and get out of there. The most important thing is that you get the shot. So shoot any way you like, organize any way you like, but in order to upload them to the Giddings servers, you're going to have to make sure that you follow the specifications of the GMS system. That means naming them correctly, tagging them correctly, processing them as DNGs correctly, and then submitting. After that, you're done. If you have any questions, reach out to me personally for a one-on-one session or reach out to support@giddingsglobal.com. And have a great shoot.